This video is sponsored by you. So Season 6, it's Season 5 in disguise, except you can't flank them. In this video you'll learn what's new in Season 6, where you get hit more, mistakes to avoid, yes it's Tatical again, and why everything seems familiar. I'll cover the basics first as usual, so use timestamps if you need to skip. First let's go over team position. A full PvP team has 4 strikers. And to special students, starting from left to right, we have A1 to A4 position. The A in A1 stands for attack, so A1 means position 1 in the attack formation. As you can see, Haruna is at A1 position in this team. Similarly for the defending side, we have D1 to D4 position, so when I refer to a D1 D4 defense, that means the defending team is using to tanks at D1 and D4 position. Each team has 1 or 2 DPS students. I will refer to them as backlines in this video. With that out of the way, let's go over Season 6 terrain. We have 2 covers at the top and 2 at the bottom. The top ones often get hit, unless you have Marina, while the bottom ones are safe, as long as your tank is still alive. So put your Iori here, because a good leg can change an entire timeline. Just note that a full Marina X can defeat her. To counter that, place Iori far from Marina, so she doesn't die after Marina X, so you can place her almost anywhere that gives her good angles to take out the enemy's team. The bottom cover is often safe, except when fighting SMU, because her range is freaking big. Nogisa X range is smaller, so if your 2 tanks are alive, you're good, as long as you don't use ATA3 tanks on defense, or Marina pushes your team back. 1 step up and you're safe, 1 step down and you'll have pudding for dinner, so it's not consistent, unless you run 4 tanks, which is niche. More on that later, but that's the theme of this season. We have counters to almost every teams, but it depends on whether you have the right students. Take Nutsuki and Sanoko for example. While you can hit them if their formation allows it, using Makoto is more consistent. But can't New Year Haruna do the same thing? Well yes, just note that she can't defend against 4 tanks, and once she's down, you lose. But no matter how many tanks you use, most of them won't live long if Iori is still alive, well except for Marina. And that's this season in a nutshell. Like if you really hate how good Marina is, use a Iori to counter her, so just improvise, depending who you're fighting against. While pulling isn't effective in this season because you can't flank them, you can pull your tanks forward. One way to do it, using a 2A3 tanks against D1D for tank, which makes Marina attack that tank instead of your entire team. If you use Iori at A1, you can pull 1 tank like this. However, if Shun is at A1, the tanks will line up for Iori shots, which is nice, but because she has no cover, Iori may wander into Nogisa range, so watch out for that. Keep Iori at A1 if you want to play safe. As for student recommendations, most of the DPS are similar to last season. If they crit, just watch out if you use Nutsuki at the top cover. As for Sanoko, she's very good if she uses her skill at the start, but if you pull a tank with Iori, she will aim at that tank and miss her X entirely. The top tanks are similar. Nogisa can't do much against Marina, just adjust your tanks accordingly, like using Yuka against Sanoko by T Yuka Ellipse. If you plan to run 4 tanks, if you want to see the teams I mentioned, check out the video in the pinned comment.